Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Quack podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Today is a special day. Today is Valentine's Day. And, this is where, if you're with somebody, if you're in a relationship, if you're seeing somebody, if you love them, it's the day that Hallmark likes to always say you should express yourself, because that's just what it is. You get, your significant other, you might get them gifts or you might take them out to dinner, which, by the way, happy Valentine's Day, Bridget. Always great to have, my baby there. She's always got my back, and that's what makes life worth living, and being with her makes it wonderful. It really does. So for all the people that are celebrating Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. For all the people that are calling it single awareness, I get it. Trust me, I've been there. It's been a long while since I have celebrated Valentine's Day, and I'll be doing that later tonight. Just hang in there. Trust me, there is somebody out there for everybody. That's what they keep telling me, and I didn't believe it, but I believe it. It's true. It's definitely, it always happens when you least expect it. 2019 for me has been an interesting year so far, and I've really enjoyed it. But, let's move on here to a lot of the news that I always like to cover. First off, I'd like to give my condolences to the Morales family. Pedro Morales, for those of you who don't know, passed away this week. Pedro Morales was the World Wide Wrestling Federation champion, WWF, for over 1,000 days. He actually was a Triple Crown winner as well, winning the Intercontinental title and winning the tag team titles with Bob Backlund. Not a lot of people know that, but, he was truly one of the legends, a definite Hall of Famer, one of the all-time greats to have ever stepped in the ring. So my condolences to the Morales family and friends of his. He was really one of the top guys during the 70s for sure. One of the best. But on to current professional wrestling. So there was a thing happened on Monday Night Raw, and this really got me here. They have to do the skit with Becky Lynch here where she had to apologize. Had to come out there and say she was sorry for punching Stephanie McMahon and slapping Triple H. If we would have done that in the regular job, the real world, oh my God, God knows what would happen. I'd probably be in jail if I did that, That's why you gotta love the world of professional wrestling there. But of course, she apologizes. It took her the entire show, as people expected. But, of course, Vince McMahon comes out and says, I don't accept your apology. I'm going to name Charlotte Flair. What was the point of the Royal Rumble? How are you going to win the Royal Rumble? And they go, No, you're not involved now. Of course, I feel like, this is a BS, and as a fan, I'm sure people are pretty upset. But, you got to expect this. You got to expect there's going to be some sort of drama towards WrestleMania. You've seen how she got in the Royal Rumble. Somebody was hurt. They sent her in. Right? Could that happen at Mania where possibly Charlotte Flair gets hurt, she gets sent in, or does she just get put in a triple threat match, which God, nobody wants. Nobody really wants Charlotte Flair in this match. You read it all over the boards. You read it everywhere. Nobody wants Charlotte Flair. Everybody feels like she was given everything because of her dad. She is a talented wrestler. Believe me, she is a talented wrestler, but that perception is always there with the fans, unfortunately, for her. But, so we'll see what happens later on down the line, because what happens this Sunday? The Elimination Chamber! Yeah, that's going to be really awesome to watch there. I cannot wait for this Sunday. We've got a lot of matches. I'm going to cover some of them here. For the first time ever, well, definitely in a long while. We now have the return of the women's tag team titles. And they're going to fight in an elimination chamber. It's going to be 6 teams. And I am pretty stoked on it. You got Sasha Banks and Bayley in there, and you got Tamina and Nia Jax, and you've got the Riot Squad there, and 3 other teams, all coming into this. So it'll be interesting who is named the SmackDown champions. I'm going more with Nia Jax and Tamina just because I don't feel like anybody's going to beat either one of them. Good God, man! I mean, them as singles competitors, they're just tough, but them as a team, is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And so that's going to be one of my top matches to watch. Then of course now, as it got named out there, Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a no disqualification match. Have I not seen this before? How many times do we got to see this match? Can we, sorry Seth, can we burn it to the ground? Good God, man. Of course Braun Strowman's going to beat the crap out of him. I mean, this is kind of, a given. I mean, it's Braun Strowman. The only guy that really gives him any competition is Brock Lesnar, but yet he don't get to fight Brock Lesnar. It's kind of like, why? Can you set that match up? Fans want that too. They don't mind Seth Rollins and Lesnar. It's okay, but I'm pretty sure Lesnar's not dropping the title to him. I'd be amazed, And then we got Finn Balor going against Bobby Lashley for the Intercontinental title. Finn Balor now no longer in the world title picture. Now going to the Intercontinental title, which is good for him. He is a great worker, and as they call the Intercontinental title, the worker's title. The guy that could possibly hold that title and bring some respect back to it. Kind of like when The Miz and Seth Rollins and all that did it. Bobby Lashley's pretty good. Almost feel like he shouldn't be holding that title. He should be fighting more higher. But, they should probably have a great match. I would imagine that Lashley will probably continue to hold that title. I just don't feel that he's going to drop it, to Finn Balor. It'd be amazing. It would take, some shenanigans probably to go out with that. And there we go. SmackDown Tag Team titles. So you got The Miz and Shane McMahon. I love this team. I'm a huge Miz fan. Most people know that. So, to be calling themselves the best in the world, 2/3 best in the world over here, they're taking on the Usos. That will probably be a top-notch match because, all 4 of these guys, they know how to perform to a high level. It'll definitely be a quality tag team match. I feel like, again, they're going to keep the belts on Shane and The Miz. It's going to go one or two ways. It's either they're going to keep the belt on Shane and Miz, or the Usos are going to win it, and then Shane and The Miz are probably going to fight each other at Mania. That could be A or B. That wouldn't shock me, especially if they drop the titles. Miz, his ego self, which, like I said, love the character, one of my favorites. So, we got that. And then you've got Ronda Rousey against Ruby Riott, Ronda Rousey's got to fight Ruby Riott, the Riott Squad. And, of course, she just beat up the other two, Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan, beat both of them in a matter of, minutes? And they're going to put this on. This is a straight beatdown match. This is a straight squash match. I expect, the Riott Squad to probably be out there with her, the other 2 members. But it's not going to matter much. They're not letting Ronda drop it on this pay-per-view at all. If she dropped it, it would be at Mania. If. And I don't even think there's an if, Especially now you're not going to have Becky Lynch in there. You're going to have Charlotte Flair at Mania. I don't see them dropping the belt. But this is going to remains to be seen. Then, the main event. The main event of the evening. An Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown Heavyweight title. I'm telling you, this match is going to be mind-blowing. You've got Daniel Bryan going against Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy and the guy who qualified this week, Kofi Kingston. They put Kofi Kingston into this match because they need somebody to take some hella bumps. That was what this was. There's no shot Kofi Kingston wins the world title. I mean, and Kofi is one hell of a worker, but they don't give him that kind of push like that. I'd be shocked if they did, and I seriously doubt it. And, of course, Eric Rowan, I'm sure, will be outside the cage. And probably in some ways will probably interfere somewhere in the match. So I'm probably going to say Daniel Bryan does keep his belt. I'd be amazed if any one of them won. Now, my personal pick, I would love to see Samoa Joe win this title. Because out of all the guys, Samoa Joe hasn't won a championship here in the WWE as far as the world title. And the man deserves it. God, he just dominates. But will they give him the shot? That'll be a whole nother story. And I got a little bit of NFL news. Of course, what happened yesterday? Oh my God, everybody's like, did this really happen? Joe Flacco, now reportedly, on principle, traded to the Broncos. Notice I said on principle. They can't officially do it until March, which means technically this is not a binding deal. This is just on principle. Could another team come in there and say, hey, we want him, because they're only offering a 3rd and 4th round pick for him. And I'm sure the Ravens are happy to get rid of him in some respects because, he's taking up a huge salary cap there. And they got Lamar Jackson. They want to move on with the future. They don't want to have that quarterback controversy, which, makes a lot of sense. But, could some other team come in there? Could somebody like, let's say the Redskins or maybe even the Steelers. See, I'm still wondering, is Ben playing this year? I'm still wondering that, There's been that talk. So, I mean, could another team come in there and possibly try to move up and offer them more to get them out? Yes, there's that possibility. Do I think it'll happen? Probably not. I think they're going to trade to the Broncos, get their 3rd and 4th round pick, which would be good for both teams. I mean, the Broncos seriously need a quarterback. Joe, he is a Super Bowl winning MVP. The last couple of years he has not looked up to that mark, but he's a solid veteran. So, I mean, I would consider Joe probably, if I had to rank him out of 32 quarterbacks here, starting quarterbacks, I would probably put Joe around the 11, 12 mark, so under maybe 10. I'd really have to sit down and think about it, but no higher than 10. I mean, there's definitely better quarterbacks in the league now for sure this year. But, so it will be interesting to see what happens with that. And Kyler Murray, Oklahoma, claiming for the draft. That, in itself is huge. I mean, of course, you heard Arizona's head coach come out and say if he was available and I had the number 1 pick, he would be my guy. Arizona has the number 1 pick, because they are the worst team. So you could be seeing him there. John Gruden has been allegedly expressing interest in him as well. There's a lot of things. That's why I'm ready for the draft, because we're going to see who gets traded, who gets first-round picks, from getting rid of players like Antonio Brown, which could happen. Le'Veon Bell still out there. There's a lot of guys, a lot of things. Nick Foles, a lot of big things getting ready to go down here within the next month. That's why I'm watching the draft as much as I can. Definitely want to watch the combine. And, if you're definitely trying to find out what your team's doing, that is definitely something you should be watching. Especially if you're playing fantasy football, because let me tell you, those rookies, they score a lot of points, And on to my final topic here. This is my Cheese Dick movie of the week to watch. This one just came out. It is definitely a recommended Cheese Dick movie because I don't feel that this is ever going to make television, at least without being completely edited. But it is definitely one of the best movies I've seen this year so far. And that would be Tales of the Hood 2. If you've watched the first one, basically, the first one was stories. And that's basically what this is. It's like a Tales of the Crypt. But, of course, it's Tales from the Hood. And there is, several stories that break down about people and what, havoc they've caused. And you always see some, things happen. It's definitely something I recommend you watch. one of the best movies I've seen made. I'm not even talking about Bird Box. Don't ever get me to talk about that because I'm passing on it. You know, this movie tops that in my opinion. Make sure you watch it. And that's all I got, folks, for the Dr. Quack podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you got anything you would like to talk about, any questions you'd like me to answer, please feel free to write that in the comments section. Like, share this. I'd really appreciate it. I'd like to get my name out there. And I am going to have some special guests here coming up in the next few weeks. So get ready, folks. They're coming out here, and we're going to hear what happened in the world of professional wrestling while I was in it. All right, folks. Thank you.